Okay. Why technology is important in COVID times? Technology has played a very important role in times of COVID for several reasons. The most important is related with the health area, since hospitals must be equipped with updated technology implements that can help sick people infected with the virus. On the other hand, the economic area, for example, many companies have to take their business to virtuality since they have to start scaling their products in the internet, and technology became a successful tool to accomplish this goal. Lastly, education was also aided by technology as it helped millions of teachers and, students to connected and receive their education without any delay. Next. The impact of COVID-19 in real life. COVID-19 had a great impact around the world, the way that we interact with another people, and also we have to follow new biosecurity measures, and also this disease affects different fields, for example, such as economic, health, and education. And in around the world, everything changed, and we starts to be online, like for example, school, a university, work. Next.
Okay. Technology has played an important role in responding to the novel coronavirus and subsequent pandemic. This virus has challenged officials and has shown the critical limitation of the traditional health apparatus around the world. However, through this pandemic, technology has answered the call for a new form of public health. Okay, now I'm going to give you some examples of technologies that has helped the health system during this pandemic. Next. Okay, first, the reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction, RT-PCR, is one of the fastest and most accurate laboratory methods for detecting, tracking, and studying the COVID-19 virus. Another example is the apps. The first COVID-19 apps to be developed were contact tracking apps, which were created to notify users if they had come across another person infected with the coronavirus. If someone were in close proximity to an infected person, the app send you an automatic notification, and this is for alert him or her of a possible COVID-19 infection and suggest that the person should take a test. And finally, the use of robots has increased. For example, exists a squad of robots serves as the first line of defense against person-to-person transmission. The temperature of the patient is monitored by machines, which are equipped with thermal cameras on the top of the head. And another type of robots are those that carry a series of powerful ultraviolet lights that destroy the DNA, the genetic material of the virus, and other pathogens after a few minutes of exposure. Next.
Okay, how the COVID has impacted in the social in the social. Okay, first I want to talk about restaurants. One of the most common plans for all Colombians had to close due to the pandemic, and in accordance with the passage of the time, as we adapting to the new normal, the restaurants have been reinvented so that people are encouraged to leave their their homes and support the economy of Colombians. So they have innovated and launched virtual menus in which, with the use of a QR code, you can see the menu and order easily. And in addition, the quarantine has made it easier to communicate and has caused almost every person to learn to use the technology to talk to the others. For example, more and more are the grandparents that are learning to use technology to communicate with their families. And so tools like Zoom become of vital importance, not only for classes, but also to celebrate birthdays and more celebrations. And finally, the outdoor meetings are increasingly rare, so we have all learned to appreciate the moments when we can leave our homes, get out of the monotony, and since the confident for many months generates stress, which is not good for our health, and that is why it is important to find spaces to give us peace and mental health.
Hi, I am Sofía. What happening to the economy? Next, please. Okay, the countries most economically affected by the pandemic have been those that rely heavily on international trade, tourism, and commodity exports and external financing. The recession caused by COVID 19 is probably the best for advanced economic since World War II, and the most difficult in recent years in countries with emerging and developing economies. In restaurants and nightclubs, about 29% of stores in Colombia didn't renew their commercial registrations in 2020. In addition, they have been the sector most affected in the midst of the social and economic crisis to the coronavirus. Also, it is a sector where there is a law of agglomeration and it is considered simply a point of recreation and distraction for society. There are companies that have offered a way to reshape the business, reorganizing the debt and eliminating expensive real estate in order to support themselves financially. However, they are companies that could not overcome this crisis and had to close. Furthermore, they didn't have the livelihood to pay the employees. Among the most affected is also that of concerts, and which since March 2020 has been paralyzed in the most of the world for almost a year. The uncertainty and concern and soaring the coronavirus has led to the cancellation or postponement of of a large number of important fairs, festival concerts, sporting events, and throughout Latin America. And finally, tourism is one of the essential driving forces for employment and growth. But COVID-19 has dramatically changed this. This impact on tourism in tourist companies and their workers, who are mostly young, has been very difficult.
Taking about into account, we can conclude that the pandemic through technology has helped use to solve it of the many problems that are currently emerging. Taking about into account, we can conclude that the pandemic through technology has helped use to solve it of the many problems that are currently emerging. It has provided use with great solution from a social point of view, such a new application to communication with our families, friends, and others, while supporting a local restaurant to run application that offer delivery and discount when using them. In addition, in health, they create application of managing stress, anxiety, and all the feelings of anguish and despair that this situation brings, and that is excellent sign having emotional stability at this time is essential.